Welcome to the Feast Life, where we empower you, the modern homeschool mom, to create a life and homeschool you love. One founded on faith, family, freedom, and fun. I'm your host, Julie Ross, creator of the award-winning homeschool curriculum, A Gentle Feast, and a certified Christian life coach. For more information on today's episode and to access my free gift for you, check out thefeastlife.me. Charlotte Mason once said, "Life should be all living, not a mere tedious passing of time." So on this show, we seek to savor the feast of life. Girl, grab your favorite beverage and pull up a chair. You are welcome at this table. Hey everyone, welcome to the Feast Life. I'm your host, Julie Ross, and I'm here today with Amy Hughes. Hey, Amy.
Hi, Julie.
So glad you're here, and I'm so excited to talk to you today. So for people who don't know you, can you just give a little rundown of the gist of Amy?
Yeah, so I'm Amy. I have 9 kids. 3 of them have graduated from homeschool, and then we have 5 homeschooling and a baby. She's 13 months now.
Oh.
Yes, I'm crazy. That's just always what people ask next. So
yes, you do know what causes it, right?
Yeah, I do know what causes it. Yeah. So yeah, I live in California, and yeah, I don't know. I'm a mom.
You're so cute. I'm so glad that you came on to talk because I think this is such an important topic, and followed your Instagram account for years, and I've talked to you, and I love your heart for this. And so I think it's something that's really going to resonate with my audience. And so today we're going to be talking about giving your child the gift of a slow childhood.
Yes.
And I thought you were the perfect person to talk about this. So how would you even describe that to somebody?
Okay, a slow childhood it's a natural, gentle childhood, like a slow unfolding instead of a rushed one. There's a book called Mitten Strings for God by Katrina Kennison, and in it she talks about this summer when her family unplugged their clocks and alarms, and they just went to bed with their curtains open and let themselves be woken up every morning by the sunrise and just took their time. And I think that's like a slow childhood. It's a good metaphor, because instead of a jarring awakening for our kids, we give them a slow, gentle wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what it's just.
And so you're not just referring to this is how they wake up in the morning instead of an alarm, get in the bus to school.
Yes.
That could be one aspect of it, but yes, all of life. So can you give like a practical example of what a slow childhood versus a rushed childhood would look like?
Yeah. I think a slow childhood is like creating an environment where our kids can just be kids, where they're not rushed from one thing to another. They're not forced to read by the time they're 5 or 6. There's no checklists for our kids. There's no, this is when you have to do this, and you have to meet this standard right here, and you should be moving on from dress up by the time you're 8. None of that. It's just let a child be a child, create an environment where they can grow and flourish at their own pace, and just enjoy their childhood with them.
Yeah. And so what you're saying, in case people are like, what in the world is this lady talking about? It seems very countercultural, because I feel like our society, it's exactly what you were saying. By this age, you should be doing this thing. And by this age, and if you're not doing it by that, then you're behind. And it puts all this pressure on parents, who then in turn take that anxiety and pass it on to their children. And so how do you, because that's what we've been told for so long, is this is what is supposed to happen in childhood, and it's your job as the mom to make sure this happens. Like, how do we even break out of that mindset?
think it takes a lot of learning and growth on the parents' part. It's in homeschooling, I would say we call it deschooling.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily the exact same thing, but the concept of deschooling is for a parent is to get themselves out of that school mindset. If they went to school for 12 years, they think school looks like sit in the classroom, read your textbooks, meet these arbitrary expectations at a certain time. And when we start homeschooling, we have to retrain ourselves and let go of a lot of those beliefs that we hold.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with just parenting and childhood in general. Like, we have been trained to think that we need to meet these goals and our kids' childhood needs to look like this, and they need to be in Little League by age 5, and they need to be scheduled all day long and all week long. And we really just need to retrain ourselves. There's so many resources and materials out there. And what I always recommend is just looking at every belief you hold about the expectations and what your children should be doing at what time, and breaking it down. Like, why do I hold this belief? What do I think is going to happen if we don't reach this at this time? And kind of just take apart all of those thoughts and reteach yourself. If you can't justify it and go, yes, this is very important, I believe it is because of this, then there's a good chance it's something that you can toss and relearn.
Yeah, no, I like that idea of writing down what beliefs are you holding on to, if this is how childhood should be. And then holding that truth or holding that thought in your hand almost, and is this really what I believe, and examining it.
Right.
So if they want some more like research or information, is there something you can say off the top of your head, or maybe that's something you can give us, like, to go, I feel in my gut, I don't believe this, but I have all these other people telling me that this is true. And I need something more than just, this is what I feel is right, to stand upon of, no, we're going to do something different.
Yeah. You want resources, or is that what you're asking for? Okay. Yeah, I really love
I didn't ask you this, so this is totally off the top of your head. So that's what I'm saying. If you want to give it to us later, that's totally cool. Or if you're like,
no,
oh yes, I recommend this to everyone, or whatever.
The Simplicity Parenting book by Kim John Payne is a great one. He has a chapter in there where he talks about simplifying a child's like exposure to the adult world. And that is a really great chapter that talks about a slow childhood. He also talks about creating an environment. And that's what we do. We create the environment. So how do we create the environment for a slow childhood? He really has some good ideas for that. Also, Ainsley Arment's book, The Wild and Free Family, talks a lot about this. And that's another great resource. And there's so many like random Instagram accounts out there that that are great. You can be inspired by or not be inspired by and feel terrible. So I don't know. Instagram's one of those.
We'll take caution with Instagram, but those book recommendations are fantastic. That's what I was looking for. And I had Ginny Urick on a little bit ago, and her last book has so much research.
Oh yeah, hers is a perfect one for that too.
That was super helpful. So that's really good to give you like that mindset there, right?
Yes.
What do you do though when you think this, but then your family or the people down the street or the other people are like, what are you doing? Your kid should be doing this, and you're not. Do you have any, was that your experience, or
So I've gone through, like with my family specifically, they thought I was crazy for a very long time. But I think in seeing the fruit of everything has been exactly what they needed. Okay, so yeah, my family they had some issues, but we sent some kids to college, and they've been around my kids. And I think that has been, for me, the main thing was really just letting people see my kids, including neighbors. Once people get to know you and actually see what you're doing and understand who you are, I think it makes all the difference. That's been my experience anyhow.
Yeah. Well, now that you have kids that have flown the coop, so to speak, like what, looking back on the gift of a slow childhood that you gave them, like how
Mhm.
can you reflect on that now as having like adult children and seeing the whole scope? Because it's one thing where I have a 4-year-old and I think this is important, but then having that perspective looking back is huge.
Yeah. Yeah, I just see who my kids are as they get older, and I like them. I'm proud of them,
Yeah.
and I hear them talk about the things that they
Mm,
really valued about their
yeah, that's good.
childhood, and it's just confirmation for me.
What are some of the things they say?
They'll talk about the days that they spent outside just playing. What one they A couple of my older kids always talk about whenever they're together, they always talk about when we finished reading Swallows and Amazons and how they spent 2 weeks in our backyard every single day just
Mm,
playing Swallows and Amazons, climbing the trees. Like they had this entire like setup in our backyard, and they're now 21 and 20, and
yeah.
they still talk about that with such fondness. And I'll have my daughter will be like, if I'm letting my 8-year-old play on the iPad a little bit, she'll be like, is he doing that too much? Because I haven't seen him out playing lately. She
That's
because she wants to make
yeah,
sure that they're
sweet.
getting that same childhood and those same experiences because they know how impactful they were and foundational they were for them.
Mhm.
And so I think just hearing them reminisce and talk about the things that they loved from their childhood is really confirmation for me, and hearing them trying to just perpetuate that and just the lives they're living. Like she's an adventurer, she's living van life right now after college, and it just makes me so happy to see her doing what she loves and seeing the fruit of being given a slow free childhood and her just coming into herself,
That's really
and
cool.
with my other kids too. It's pretty meaningful.
Yeah, that's great. I love that example of, I love swallows and Amazon, like of them
Yeah.
outside building the boat and all that. Was there ever a part of you that was like, while they were doing all that, maybe we should be doing something else because now that they're out doing this, we're missing XYZ that I had planned. That
Yeah,
ever happened to you?
yeah, I definitely, especially in those early years
Yes.
where I think this is our 17th year homeschooling this year.
Yeah.
So I think I think I've finally come into my
Yeah.
chill a little bit.
Yes.
But
Age helps with that too.
yeah, but there were definitely like back then when we were first in our first 5 years,
Yeah.
especially, I had my plans and I had everything set up. And I really struggled with pulling my kids away to do these lesson plans when they were they were out playing and doing amazing things. And one thing that really helped me, because back then we were doing Ambleside online at the time, and it really helped me. I read a blog post or something about narration, and it said that when your kids are 12 and under, their narration might be play.
Yes.
If they are playing
Yep.
and you can see and hear that they're playing something from what they've learned or you've read, then that they're narrating. They've taken it in,
Mm,
and now they're releasing it and letting it out into the world, and they're showing what they got from that and making connections and having relationship. And that was really foundational for me to
mm,
just let go a little bit and go, you know what, my kids are playing. I saw it with Legos. I wouldn't pull them away from Legos because I saw they're playing King Arthur. And so it was a slow just realization for me that what they're doing is growth and education.
mm, mm.
And I can see in their play and in the stories they're writing and in the songs that they're making up, that they have taken everything in,
Yeah.
and I don't need to pull them away because this
Yeah.
is it. This is what
Yes.
we're doing.
And I love that because what happens is, and that I can think of so many examples in my own kids. First one that came to my head is one day they were arguing in these weird accents, and I come downstairs and they're all dressed up, and one was Adolf Hitler and one was Frida Kahlo. Why they were hanging out, I'm not really sure. But one has a German accent, one has Spanish accent. It was so hilarious. And it was like, okay, we're good. I don't know what's happening. But it's like all these little ideas, right? And all these little seeds are being planted. But what often happens is our days are so full of read this, do this, read this, do this, that there's no time for the narration from play to happen. Or there's that fear of, well, what if it's not happening? So I got to make sure it happens. So we got to sit down, we got to put it on paper so that I know it actually happened.
Yeah. Narration was one of those things for me, at least in my homeschool, that I really did a transition with to let it be really natural. My kids always hated in those early years when I would ask them for a narration. Tell me what you read. Tell me what you read. And that change, or that seeing that their play was a narration, opened a door for me to relax more in what I was having them do, until we had a situation when my daughter was 13, I believe, and she was reading The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. And she chose to read it. I got to a point where I just laid books in front of my kids and said, read, these are great books. And she chose The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. And then she finished the book, and I told her, I said, this is a really hard book.
I was gonna say it.
This is gonna wreck you a bit.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay. She liked to be wrecked a bit. Yeah. And so she went and read it, and she read it in a day. And I didn't ask her a narration from her, because I stopped doing that and just let it happen naturally. Yeah. And when she finished the book, she put a sign on her door, and it said, processing, keep out.
I bet. Yeah, I probably do the same thing.
She was in there for an hour or so. Wow. Then she came out, and she was like, I need to talk about it. Yeah. And then she just let forth this beautiful, spontaneous narration. And she told me the entire story. And I was in tears, and she was in tears. And that is beautiful. That is spontaneous. That is narration.
100%. And if you had forced it out of her, it probably would not have been like
so different. So different. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's why I call this like the gift of a slow childhood, because it is a gift to allow them that time. Yeah. That we all need as humans to process big ideas and big emotions. And that's where like our creativity and expression comes from, is that time. Right. Yeah. But so many parents, and I'm sure so many talk to you, feel so much pressure to fill every moment of every day and not allow that time. So how would you encourage them to go, it's going to be okay. Yeah. This is actually the learning, not necessarily this worksheet or this written narration that you had. Allow the freedom to this be the learning too. Hey everyone, Julie Ross here. I just wanted to pop in and let you know about something special that I am doing. Starting May 7th, I will be doing a free 3-day workshop called The Gentle Art of Homeschooling. So you may have chosen to homeschool because you want to give your children the gift of an education that looks vastly different from our modern education system. You know, the one of checking off all the boxes, cramming in all the facts, and the one-size-fits-all mentality. You long for connections, deep discussions, and a slower pace of life. You want your children to develop good character, critical thinking, and a love for learning, but all the different curriculum options and educational philosophies and all those voices are making your head spin, and you wish you could just have someone take your hand and guide you through it all. Well, now you can. Join me for 3 days for this free workshop. I have helped thousands of families walk through the gentle art of homeschooling, and I would love to share what I have learned with you as well. So to sign up, go to thefeastlife.me/gentle to save your seat, and join me for 3 days where I will show you how to fill your homeschool with creativity, curiosity, and connection. Again, that's thefeastlife.me/gentle.
I just say to sit back and look at your children, watch them play, listen to them, talk to them, let them tell you things. Just take some time to really experience just a natural life with them and get to know who they are and connect with them. Yeah. And I think when we do that, we really feel peace. We don't have as much anxiety about what they're doing and if they're meeting these standards, because we can just look at them and see these are amazing human beings.
Yeah.
They're smart, they're creative, they're clever. And if they don't know their times tables yet, that's okay, because they can learn them next year.
Okay, use a calculator. You're right.
Right. They can use a calculator. We have so much time, and learning never ends. But this childhood does. And we are just so blessed to be able to spend this childhood with them.
Mm-hmm.
And understanding that and not seeing it as a race and not seeing it as boxes to be checked, I find just really brings peace and really just brings clarity to what you're doing. There's actually something, childhood anxiety is like through the roof.
Yeah.
And there's something called the hurried child syndrome. I don't know if you've heard of that.
No,
this is an actual syndrome. Yeah. And it manifests itself as just stress. Children
very stressed. Yeah, I see that.
Stressed and anxious, having trouble sleeping, having issues eating. And it comes from parents rushing children through childhood, trying to get them to do better, be better, meet these expectations, excel, do every activity. It's just a domino effect of being rushed through childhood. And yeah, so I think if we look at all the negative, or if we look at the negative impact that comes from rushing children and checking all these boxes, we realize that if I give my kids a slow childhood, and the worst thing that happens is that they are learning something a little bit later than someone else.
Yeah, right.
But I had all this time with them, and we've connected, and they're growing and flourishing in so many ways. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I had never heard of that before, but I'm definitely going to look into it, because I see that. And I used to be a public school teacher and definitely saw that with the parents and the pressure. And it was a very affluent school I was in. I actually tutored a child who was 5. I was tutoring him in reading, and I was one of 3 tutors that he had. He's 5.
Wow. Wow.
And I told him, if we work on the phonics lesson for 15 minutes, then we can play for the last 15 minutes. And he was like, what does that mean? It was so sad. I got fired after 3 weeks because the mom was like, I didn't pay you to play with him. And I'm like, this is actually what he needs. And talking to him is actually helping his language acquisition, which helped him read, but whatever, I gave up. I was like, I convert her, but it was the first time I'd ever experienced a world like that. And it was like, wow, this is so eye-opening of the pressure in the world and that these people are in, and wanting to give. And I think this is becoming more common to want to give our children something different.
Yes, it is. It really is.
Which is great, which is fantastic. And I really do feel like it ties into what Charlotte Mason said about children are born persons. When someone is a person, and you're not trying to make them a cog in a machine, they don't have to meet all these things on these times, and you can allow that freedom for that person to come out in its own.
Exactly.
Did you want to share the quote about the quiet growing time, or I have it if you want me to read it?
I don't have the quote on me, but yes, go for it.
Yeah, I'll read it and then you can tie it in. So Charlotte Mason wrote in this. Okay, first of all, it's hilarious because she wrote, in this time of extraordinary pressure, educational and social. And she's writing it in the early 1900s. I was like, yeah, Charlotte, you should see what kids are doing. I don't even know what she would do, with the amount of pressure and activity.
I think about it too. I know.
I don't know what the pressure was back in 1900, but I could only imagine it's worse today. So she said, perhaps a mother's first duty to her children is to secure for them a quiet growing time, a full 6 years of passive receptive life, the waking part of it spent for the most part out in the fresh air.
Yeah, that's such a good quote. And I think, the quiet growing time, and that to me is a slow childhood. It's not just in the first 6 years, but especially in those really foundational years that the child's brain is growing at an alarming rate. It's just like everything that you put in their path, every influence, they're taking it in, everything that they're surrounded by. And so that's really a time to be very intentional about the environment that we give to them. What are they seeing? What are they hearing? What are they feeling? Everything that they are exposed to in those early years is a part of their growth. And that's incredible, because that kind of shows the responsibility that we have. We can either really help their growth or hinder their growth, depending on what we are offering.
Yeah.
And the slow childhood, just letting the baby be, letting the child be, just loving them, nurturing them, growing that secure attachment, taking them out, letting them feel fresh air, letting them feel sand, letting them, as they're walking, letting them run through the grass, just all of these really natural, organic experiences and influences are just so important for them. And I think that sometimes we're rushed. We feel rushed in life. And so we rush through those things instead of taking time. I often tell this story about years ago when my daughter Pearl, she's 12 now, but when she was a baby, I used to walk with her on my back in the ergo. And then I'd have my other kids and we would walk around the block, but we lived in this really beautiful neighborhood with these California oak trees, and there were deer, and it was gorgeous. So we'd walk around the block, but it would take us 20 minutes. And the kids they were really getting to know the walk, right? So they would touch certain branches or be like a low-hanging branch, and they'd always want to hit it. And there was always a place where there were birds' nests. So they'd stop and dig through the leaves on the ground and see what they could find. And Pearl, almost for a year, was on my back during this walk. And then I finally was like, okay, I'll let her walk. She didn't want to be in the backpack. And that walk took us an hour. We were walking, I'm holding her hand, and she stopped at every single place that she had seen her siblings stop at over the year. She reached up to hit the branch. She bent down to dig through the leaves. Everything that they did, she wanted to do during her first time walking. And it was amazing to see that she had been taking all of this in all this time. And now it was her turn, and she got to experience it. And I get it. So often we're like, no, we got to go. We got to go. We don't want to give that time. And there are definitely times when we can't, you know, but overall, just giving her that opportunity and giving our kids those opportunities that's the quiet growing time. That's the time that they really need to take this stuff in. And that's the gift of a slow childhood.
So we're giving our kids that gift. How is also a gift for the mom?
Oh, yeah, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
It is definitely a gift for the mom.
How have you seen that in your life?
Because we get that time with our kids. We get to experience it. We're not sending our kids to have these experiences, not even these experiences, but to have different experiences with somebody else. We are with them. We get to see their eyes sparkle when they see something for the first time. We get to be there to hug them and kiss their knee when they fall and scrape it. And we get to be that number one influence, and we get to be the one who's there with them. And that's time that we're not going to get back. They say there's 17,000 hours or something that our kids are in school if they go to school. That's 17,000 hours that we get that we wouldn't have had otherwise. And that's just mind-blowing. Like, that's so much time.
Yeah. And my oldest is a photographer, and she's doing like senior photos now. And she put a statistic on her website, and it was by the time a child's 18, 90% of the time they'll spend with their parents is over. And I was like,
crazy. Oh, that's so hard. I've graduated 3 kids now, and now I have Toby, my 1-year-old, and I'm just like, every day I almost want to cry because I know how quickly this is going to go.
How about you're going to make me cry?
They tell you it goes so fast, but when you have a baby and an adult child, you're like, oh my gosh, I know how fast this goes.
Yes.
It's just.
Yeah, you will never regret the time that you had.
No, you won't.
Yeah.
So it is the biggest gift. It's a gift for the child, but it is such a gift for the parents.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like for me, it was a gift in a way of giving me the education I didn't have too.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And allow me to be curious and wonder, learn things on my own and have that kind of self-driven education that I didn't have too. And so that was a huge gift for me to get to feel that. And also I'm giving this gift to myself. How much greater is it to give it to my children? Now we're talking about a slow childhood. Is there such a thing as like a slow teenhood, or is it like, okay, you're 12, it's time to get down to business. High school's coming, and now it's time to do the real stuff.
That's just not how I live.
Okay, so let's go into this because I hear there's a lot. This is really nice, but at some point.
No, I understand. In my experience, when you give your kids that slow childhood, they are used to making decisions on their own, and they're motivated, and they're like, all of my kids come to a point in their teens when they're ready to get down to business.
Yes.
And so they're like, okay, I have all this time, and how am I going to use it? I want to, all my kids have wanted to do different things, and they, in their teen years, they start pursuing those things. And sometimes it changes and sometimes it doesn't. And they just really become self-focused and self-motivated. I think it's how they say that the more attached you are to your infant, the more independent they become, because they are secure. They have secure attachment. And so it's the same idea, I think, that the giving your children a slow childhood, giving your children a free and natural childhood really makes them feel secure and sets them free to pursue the things that they would want to pursue. And so in high school, they do get down to business, but usually it's a balance of both of us. Like, they're like, hey, I want to grow in this area because I want to do this. How can you help me? And I will give them the resources they need and help them move in that direction. So I think that's just a continuation of the slow childhood, is they're naturally unfolding in the ways that are right for them.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And I think, but again, it's that getting out of that mindset of, this has to happen at this time and this happens at this time. And then it's okay to keep allowing that all the way through. It doesn't change at at 12 or something like that. Yeah, that's really good. Another quote that Charlotte Mason had that I wanted to read. This is from volume 6. She says, "We all know the natural conditions under which a child should live. How he shares household ways with his mother, romps with his father, is teased by his brother, and petted by his sisters, is taught by his tumbles, learns self-denial by the baby's needs, the delightfulness of furniture, by playing at battle and siege with sofa and table, and learns veneration for the old from visits from great-grandmother." And just the concept of this home environment is the best place for a child to learn, and it's the most natural. So as you're thinking through giving your child a slow childhood, you mentioned like the importance of creating like a home atmosphere. So there's the mindset piece, which is so key. Then there's the allowing them to play in their narrations and giving them time to explore the things that they're interested in academically, and then being outside in nature. So let's talk a bit too about this overarching concept though of what the atmosphere that you are creating and being purposeful in that.
Yeah, I actually always say that the most important thing for homeschooling is atmosphere, because you can I actually make a joke about, Charlotte Mason's education is an atmosphere, discipline, and a life.
Yeah.
I have the atmosphere and the life part down, but the discipline.
It means habits.
No, I know, but even though I'm a little too free spirited,
Okay, gotcha.
try. But yeah, no, curriculum or homeschool method, all of it is second to just the atmosphere that you create, because the atmosphere that you give your kids is going to be their foundation. It's going to be what either encourages their learning and growth or stifles it. And if we can focus on atmosphere and just creating a place where our children are loved and safe and they feel valued and secure, and they have the materials that they need for their education and growth, then we're doing well. For me, and that's going to look different for every person. What are your values? What you're going to take your own family values and your morals and the things that matter to you into account, and that's going to make up your environment, but that's the environment you're going to give your kids. For me, I really love Charlotte Mason. I would not call myself a Charlotte Mason homeschooler. I call myself a Charlotte Mason unschooler. And I don't think that it's a contradiction, but many people would disagree.
Or Charlotte Mason-ish.
Yeah. But just the Charlotte Mason in our home comes in terms of atmosphere.
Yeah.
Because we fill our home with living books. We play music, different composers throughout our day. We put art on our walls. We spend lots of time outside. We bring nature inside. We light candles. We create art. We talk and discuss naturally. We have so many discussions, and it's just this environment where I feel like we are. I think it's a peaceful environment with lots of materials for growth, and where my kids feel loved and valued and secure. And I think that's the environment. That's the atmosphere. And so I think that if we can create an atmosphere that serves us, because it needs to serve us too. It can't just serve our children, but serves us and serves our kids, then their education is going to happen. It's going to happen, and their growth is going to happen. But if we don't focus on that environment, then things are going to be a little out of place. And it might be a little chaotic. So I think that environment is key.
It reminds me of I can't remember the exact quote, but at some point, Charlotte Mason uses the metaphor of a hothouse. So when we talk about something that's growing, we put it in like a greenhouse to try to make it grow faster, or like a plant's growing, so you take it out of the ground to check the roots to see if it's growing, like you're going to kill the plant. And so both of those atmospheres are stifling. I think the hothouse analogy, it's like you're stifling the child's curiosity. She talks about that too. So really practically, how do you go from chaos and I feel like I'm herding cats to get us to do everything to peaceful? Or is that something that's always just came naturally to you?
No, I mean, I've always used the change process that Kim John Payne uses in Simplicity Parenting. I'm actually a Simplicity Parenting coach, so I've learned it really well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What we do is take one thing at a time and kind of just imagine what we want it to look like.
Oh, that's so good.
And then what is one step we can do to make it happen? And then work on doing that one step. I think when we focus on too many things at once, just making change in every area, then just becomes overwhelming. And we probably don't succeed in what we're trying to do. It's like the poem, The Old Sailor by Milne, where the old sailor's like shipwrecked, and then he is trying to get off this island, but he needs to do this, but then to do this, he needs to do this, and then he needs to do this, and he needs do this. And he doesn't know what to do first. So he doesn't do anything at all. And he just waits.
Yeah.
You know? And that is the same concept. When we have too much on our mind and too many changes that we want to make, we just get overwhelmed and don't do anything. But if we can take it one thing at a time and work on one thing with Charlotte Mason's habits, right?
Okay, I was just going to push back on you because you're like, I don't do anything with discipline. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, this sounds 100% like Charlotte Mason's habit teaching. And you pick one thing and you do it for so many days.
I know.
But so yeah, you do know something about the discipline, girl.
I do. But yeah, it's follow through. No. No,
give me an example of a thing, because that seems nebulous. You're like, pick one thing. What would a thing be?
Yeah. So if I wanted to start eating dinner with my family at the table and make a nice dinner time, maybe we eat chaotically and different times or whatever, and we're all in our rooms. We're not, but if we were, and I was like, okay, this is an important thing to bring my family together and bring peace to my household, then I would focus on that. I can imagine what I want it to look like. We all cook dinner and then we sit down and we light a candle and we have a nice dinner together, clean up together. Like I can imagine that. So what is the one thing I can do to make it happen? Let's just do it. So I'm going to tell my family we're going to have dinner at this time tonight, and I'm going to set the table and I'm going to light the candle. I'm going to make the change happen, and I'm going to do it regularly so that it becomes the thing that my family does. And once it is natural, then I can say, hey, this has been accomplished. Now I can move on to something else. But at the same time, if I'm like, I want to make this change happen of dinner time, but I also want to start doing morning time regularly. And I also need to get a cleaning schedule so that I make sure my bathroom is clean.
And don't forget about the nature hike.
Yeah, and I need to get on that nature hike every
day. Play date.
Oh, and am I going to start a co-op? Probably. Then I have all these things and I'm not going to do any of them because it's just too much. So you start with the dinner and you visualize it and you make it happen, and then you move on to the bathroom cleaning. And then, you know, once you've got that schedule down, then now you're doing morning time and you're slowly making changes to create that atmosphere. That's the atmosphere you want for your family.
Yeah. No, that's so good, because yes, I do. So many people I talk to is, we're going to revamp everything, and then it's way too overwhelming, so then we do nothing, rather than seeing the value. If all you ever get to change is that you have a beautiful family dinner on the regular, that's huge.
Exactly.
That's going to change your kids' lives. That's going to change your relationship with your kids. That'll change their life when they're teenagers. They'll remember that. We put all this pressure that all of these pieces have to be perfect, and they all have to be this way, and going, if all you ever do is go for a nature walk once a month, that's still really amazing.
Exactly. We don't need everything. We don't need to do it all. Just make the changes in front of you one at a time, and you're doing great.
Yeah. No, that's so good. So are there any additional thoughts that you would have for a parent who's, okay, I'm sitting on the fence here. I know we need to make some changes. I like the idea of maybe like just changing one thing, making this slower, making this like a family time. That is so good. What other encouragement would you offer? Wrap up.
Yeah, I would just don't compare yourself. I know everyone says that, but it's so true. Like, your kids are your kids and you are you, and every family is so different. And we can go on Instagram and we can go on this or that and we can like see what we want things to look like. I mean, you can get ideas, but we need to realize that we're going to do things the way we do them, and things are going to work for us or they're not, depending on who we are. So just figure out what the slow childhood you want to give your children looks like. When you visualize what you want your days to look like, what is that? You can get an inspiration from others for sure, but picture what makes your heart beat. Picture what you love. Picture the time you want to have. And don't worry about all those voices or all those people that are saying it has to be like this, it has to be like that, because it doesn't. and you're getting this time and creating this beautiful home and family. And it's good as long as you're moving forward for what works for you.
Now, do you have a community of people that where you live that kind of are also giving their children this gift? Has that helped you to have other people on this journey?
It's definitely helpful. We do know a handful of people that we meet with, some not regularly, probably once a month at least. I guess that's regular, but they meet more often.
I didn't know if you have a wild and free group or something you were doing.
I do have a wild and free group. Yes, I have a wild and free group, and then I have another group that we meet with, but we just do it at our own pace, because that's one of those things. I'm going to do what my family needs. So even our wild and free group, I schedule things based on the needs of my family.
Yeah.
And it is helpful, but I will say I know more people online that
yeah
are encouraging and good friends to me. And I think they're all over the place. But I think that it does help to have people you can meet with, for sure. But I know that not everybody can have that. So
yeah, is there
what an online life?
yeah, like how, if someone doesn't have that where they live, is there any direction that you could point them to if they wanted to find some people online to connect with?
Yeah, for me, it's follow hashtags wild and free children, 1,000 hours outside. You'll find people like that and just start connecting. There's obviously different groups and different social media platforms, and it's actually interesting. This is a different topic, so I'll just touch on it really fast. I was talking to my daughter today. It's my 16-year-old who it's hard to find friends in real life that are like us.
Yeah, it's a big deal at that age, for sure.
This realization that I think even her friends who are in school have trouble too. And she said, I think a lot of it is just social media, because we can niche down who we connect with on social media to find people who are exactly like us.
Yeah.
And when it comes to people in real life, you can't do that. They're going to be different than you. And but it makes it hard to make these real life relationships. And so we're talking about how can we make these real life relationships, and find it's harder. It really is. So different topic, but
no, I think that fits exactly, because it's one thing, I think, when they're little and they have siblings and those kind of things, but like in teenage years, like the social aspect becomes so key. It's like, where are my people that can relate? And I think it's a really valid conversation to have. But I agree with her that teenagers just in general these days can't connect with each other, because they're whether they're in school or they're in a homeschool group or they're at home, like whatever it is, like, because they're on their devices and they don't know how to have a real conversation with people. So I think it is a real issue across the board of people don't know how to connect with people. And so, I think it's a valid thing to think through of, how can I give my teenagers these opportunities? For me, it was a lot of them having jobs and getting to meet people at Chick-fil-A or whatever, and meeting people out in the real world and developing that skill of interacting with adults and people that aren't like you and things like that too. I think that is so key. So even if this is something that you're working through, to allow other people to have a space to think different, especially in the homeschool community, because we're just like, I don't agree with that, and I don't like that, and they're not doing this, we can all, I can appreciate what you're doing and you can appreciate what I'm doing, and we can still be friends and have play dates. Okay.
Exactly.
So how can people find you? It would be a great probably place to start, and then you can connect them to some of these other places.
Yeah. So on Instagram, I'm Simple Little Amy. And then my website is simplelittleamy.com.
I love it. I've always loved your name there.
Yeah, it's interesting. My mom got me a bracelet that had Simple Little Amy engraved on it. And I was like, now I'm branded for life. But it's all right.
That's sweet.
So yeah, Simple Little Amy in all places.
Yeah, we'll definitely put these in the show notes, but I think you gave everyone a lot of food for thought. And I think one of the things that you do so well is just, you can see in you how much joy it has brought you. And then you encourage other people with that joy. Thank you for giving us the time.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Ross here. I just wanted to say thank you for listening to today's episode. If you like this show, it would mean the world to me if you would leave a positive review in iTunes. This really does help people learn about the podcast. And each month I will pick a winner to receive a free gift. Don't forget to check out all the free resources we created for you at thefeastlife.me. Thank you.